I am not in conflict with the society. I am not interested in changing it. The demand to bring about a change in myself isn't there anymore. So the demand to change the world at large is not there. I suffer with the suffering man and am happy with the happy man by UG Krishnamurti. Hello everyone, this is your host PB Flower, author of the series All Kaal None. Let me talk about life today and why I feel it is like an endless war, with the moments of peace and joy here and there. It is nothing but temporary ceasefire or an illusion of peace. The whole effort of this mindfulness, self-help is to extend that feeling of peace or ceasefire. I had heard from my husband this story back when he was in India. He used to live in India, about this guy who had returned from US, who left US actually. And it was in the ashram in Puttur. This guy left US after listening to Ramana Maharshi on a tape at a friend's house on a quest to be enlightened. So this US return guy then began running or managing the ashram, Ajja's ashram in Bangalore. Or Bengaluru, sorry. He was young, very dynamic guy. He almost seemed to enjoy being there, doing stuff, volunteering. Anyway, this guy asked my husband when he went there. My husband also went there. And this guy was puzzled to see my husband was very young back then. And so this guy asked him, why was he there? And so my husband said, that he was lost on what is good and what is bad, and confusion in general, also that he didn't feel motivated to do anything. So this US return guy just said this to him: life will hit you relentlessly. And then my husband just waited out for Ajja to come out so that he can go and see him. And so when Ajja came, my husband just had one question for him. He said, if being free or at peace is the ultimate goal, why aren't others and everyone interested in it? So Ajay just said, by looking around him, he said, well, look around and see, they are busy with something else. So the bottom line was that no one really wants to be free or peaceful. They just want the life to stop hitting them relentlessly. But pain is an expression of life, as Yuji had said. So does life hit everyone differently then? Because some still look for peace, or rather some people have this preconditioned coding that triggers invoking unwillingness to accept the ruthlessness of life. But then even the ones who have accepted life as is and continue to fight, in a way, fighting to change the fate maybe, because it is perhaps against the natural flow to fight. Industrialization was such a revolution in true sense. It killed yoga. And although it created a non-original market for it eventually, huge one at that, let's scrutinize the dark age view purely at societal level. There were small communities back then, very focused, and numbers were less of the people that were in the community. They had localized problems and time-tested solutions that worked on a small scale, and in that or for that environment and for that time period, it worked. Now it is at a much grander scale, if you fast forward to now, impacting us even more. And so it's probably the desire to give up. Desire, I mean the need to find peace and ceasefire. That's what I mean. That desire to give up is a strong desire and a response to situations or scenarios in your life. So this grander scale moved from small community to broader ideas, country, government, organizations, And the idea of government is to protect the assets of those who have from those who don't. And the same applies to country. Now, instead of a self-sustained community, we have a massive pseudo community created on forced values and forced cultures called nation. Indic culture, the one I hail from, never had one nation as its boundaries. It was all fluid and changing. The idea of standardizing is actually due to colonization. Greed wants to accumulate at one place first to swallow everything. Whole pitch of religion or any culture starts with the premise that there is misery, and that that there are apparent solutions to those problems, but they never work on anything and keep adding to the noise, like Elon Musk spending millions of dollars for space tourism, while world hunger cancel still remains an issue. But who cares? No one. We are too quick to move on to the next big thing than sit and resolve the matters at hand, the societal matters. Whatever makes more money and brings more attention to us is where we run, both at society level and individual level. We do the same, our response the same. But if you see, problems in itself are just conflicts. Conflicts cannot be addressed by creating more conflicts. It is only going to increase them. The entire systems of control, governance, and every other organizations in this society structure is all built around conflict. It has to have conflict for many things to exist in the society. Schools are also organizations. Not everyone needs to go to school to excel, but if you are a solo player, a rebel, that is the end of the need of many institutions like this. And so the society, which is a little more than the 51%, won't let that happen. Now, there is the other side of this, the achievement culture, because we are motivated either by achievement culture or rejection culture. Both give us the same kind of motivation. But in either case, self is the center, the idea of self. Achievement culture and reward cycle has been embedded into us from birth. Kissing a baby when they reach a milestone, applauding a child when it does something nice, or starts its ABCD earlier than other kids. We might have all sorts of ideas on who we are, and want to frame ourselves into something. That something could very well be, I am nobody. Even that is an idea. Or even say that I am ever changing. But that effort to frame yourself is still there, and the only intent of that framing is to keep the idea of self as the center, strong and going and validating. Let me tell you a story where how Joe Rogan, he has a YouTube channel, is super fascinated with Swami Rama. There was, or still is, someone called Swami Rama. And to hone on his breathing technique, he would go to caves for years together. And this technique is like 4,000 to 5,000 years old technique. So Joe Rogan, on his show, pointed it as self-strengthening activity, achieving it as if it is a goal to come back into society and get validation for something new that he learned. He wanted to learn that technique, but perhaps without realizing truly the effort needed, or that one might no longer want to get back to society after that. Another anecdotal story told by my husband, by someone he knew. It was his lecturer. His lecturer heard of an ancient person in a cave in the Himalayas. So he set out to look for him, and somebody helped him reach this Baba, they called. So he did exist, and he found him, and he also took some fruits, apples for him. So he went there, and there was this Baba in this cave. He was sitting there meditating, and then this Baba woke up when this guy went there, and he the Baba told him to, wash himself off in a stream that was there, and the stream was actually warm, although there was snow everywhere. And so the lecturer asked this Baba his age, and the Swami said 800 years old. So the lecturer was super amused. I mean, have you ever seen anyone cross, like, I don't know who the oldest person is, but I think it's never more than 130. But the Baba said that that was nothing in comparison to other things that are far more amusing in this world. But we forget that or dismiss it. We run around looking for something more amazing than the already amazing world around us. So kind of forgetfulness is what keeps one going in this endless loop. Remember, I told you about life will hit you relentlessly, so we need resilience and forgetfulness to keep going, like the blind ants that die of exhaustion following the one going the wrong way. Mankind probably will end up like that someday. If you don't know what I'm referring to, it is it's about it's called ant mill, and it is an observed phenomena in which a group of army ants are separated from the main party, and so they lose the pheromone track and they begin following each other, and they keep going in circle. And it's also known as the death spiral. And so eventually they would die of exhaustion, and that is what we are doing. That is what us humans are doing. We keep fighting until we can no more. Is that different from the animals? No. Even they have highs and lows, surviving in nature, dodging predators, reproducing, fighting for food, taking care of their kids up to some point, not like humans, but they have their own struggles. Unfortunately, end conclusion is that there is perhaps no right or wrong way to take things forward in life, especially which guarantees that what you did was the right choice. Because remember, the reflection can be anything, as it's the one free will we have, and regret can set in regardless of whether you did or didn't do the right thing, because hindsight is always 2020. And as Eklavya said in my series All Kaal None, everybody is an expert after the fact. Well, thank you for listening. This is PB Flower signing off. Until next time. Bye-bye.